Assalamu alaikum. Hello, my fellow programmers. Welcome back. Today we are diving into exciting world of C programming again. In this video lecture, we will be exploring the fundamental concepts of variables, data types, and operators. So grab your compiler and let's get started. But before getting started, we should see today's outline, today's topics that we are going to cover in today's class. Variables and data types in C, basic arithmetic and assignment operators, understanding the precedence and associativity, typecasting and convergence. So these are the topics to cover in today's class. So let's get started without wasting any time. So let's open your compiler FC++, which we installed in our last class. See all the process. Okay, so this is the basic structure that we also learned in last class. We don't see the previous lesson. So go and watch that lesson first and then come to this one. So let's start with, let's talk about variables and data type sensing. In programming, variables are like boxes that hold values. They have names, types and size. We need to declare, in C programming, we need to declare variables before using them. Let me show you an example for better understanding. So here's an example. I already wrote the code, so I just copy paste here. Okay, so just little editing in this code. 25 %. I'm going to explain this code. Just give me a few seconds. Everything is on right here. Yes. So what is happening in this code? Age is basically a integer type variable, and it is named as age. We can give any name to this variable. Like for example, we can give the name of age. And what we are doing in this first line, we are actually declaring the integer type variable, which named as age. Now come to second line. What we are doing in second line, named age is equal to 25. Equal to operator is basically an assignment operator. When we want to assign some value to any variable, we use equal to operators. So here equal to operator, what is equal to operator doing? It assigns the value of 25 to the variable age. Now use printf function. My age printf function that we use to print any values on console, screen or output. So let's print the value of age. So my age is equal to %d we use here because it is a integer type variable. So for integer type we use %d, for float we use %f, for char we use %c. These are some common data types. Other data types like double, long and short and all these data types are not that much commonly used, and we should self-study these data types, and these are the most commonly used data types. So let's talk on these things. Yes. So let's compile and run this program by pressing F11. First we already saved this program. So we got the output. My age is 25. Okay. My age is 20. So we got an output of my age is 25, which means that the variable the value is printed from the variable age as written here. Okay, if we change the data type of this variable from integer to float, for example integer to float, and here we give 25.5, then we also have to change here f. Now we are going to run it by pressing F11 again. We got the value in float type 25.50000. This is the float type. Integer data type can't support this value. So for this type of values we use float. Now we see this looks little bit ugly. There are many numbers after the point. So if we just only want 2 or 3 numbers after the point to look our output pretty, so we can just write point. For example, I want 2 numbers only after point. So I write 0.2 between % and F sign. Now let's run it. How it look pretty. My age is 25.50. So we see two data types. Now here we also going to see another data type char. It's for assigning a letter to char variable, we use this quotation marks and we give, for example, p. Now we have to change some things here. We have to use %c, and now we are going to press F11 for compile and run our program. Now we got the answer. My age is p, which means p is a character. We get p from the variable age, which is right now a character type variable, char type variable. You can say that it only save a one letter. So here as I write here, int for integer type, float for decimal values or float type, char for letters, only one letter, not letters, only for one letter. It save only one alphabet. Now let's explore the basic arithmetic operations and assignment operators in C. These operators allow us to perform mathematical operations and calculation and assign values to variables. Take a look at this example. I already wrote the code, so you don't have to waste our time on writing code. Yeah. Yeah, I already wrote this code. Now I'm going to explain it. So what we are doing there? We have actually there we use 4 operators: plus, minus, static, and slash. What these operators do? Plus is for addition, as we all know. Minus is for subtraction, and static is for multiplication, and slash is for division. What we are doing in this program, we use 2 variables. We have 2 variables. We declare 2 variables A and B, and assigning their values at the time of declaration. Int A is equal to 10, B is equal to 5. Now what we are doing, we have a separate variable to save their output. For example, we have a variable sum, we have variable difference, product, and quotient to save their outputs of their addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division, respectively. So when we do A plus B, it's going to save the value of 15 in sum. When we do A minus B, it is going to save the value of 5 in difference, and other also in the same way. So to print these variables, we use printf function. So this is a printf function that we are going to use to print these values. Now run this program by pressing F11. Yeah. So we have sum is equal to sum colon 15, difference 5, product 50, and quotient 2. So we got an answer. So these are the operators that we are used basically to do some mathematical operations, to perform some calculation. And here we use equal to operators to assign values. Okay. Here we also use equal to operator to assign values. In whole program, the equal to operator uses the assigning for values, and we use some other operators like plus, minus, static, and slash for addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. So let's see some printf statements. Sum colon %d, as we discussed. This is the integer type. Variables A and B, and sum is also integer type. So if you want to print the value of sum, so we use %d. And what backslash n did here? Backslash n basically gives shift the answer to next line. After printing the value of sum, it shifts the cursor to next line. So differentiation answer prints on the next line. So let's see once again, one more time, the output. Yeah, it prints the answer 15 of sum, and then it shifts the cursor to next line. Then the difference answer prints 5, and then the cursor shift to the next line, and also for the quotient. So now we discussed these things. Now we are going towards our second last topic for today's class, that is understanding the precedence and associativity. So it is an important topic if we see, because to Understanding the precedence and associativity of operators is crucial when writing C programs. It determines the order in which operators are evaluated. So let me show you let me demonstrate this with an example. We already wrote the code, so we are just going to copy paste, save our time. Yeah. Here is a code. This is a code. Okay. What we are doing here, as we know, in mathematics there is a rules book called BODMAS and DMAS for these types of mathematical operations. So in these types of operation, what we did, we first do multiplication and then addition, because precedence of multiplication is higher over addition. So let's print it. Yeah, so we got the answer of we got the result of 11, as it follows the DMAS and BODMAS rule. 2 plus 3 is equal to 2 multiplied by 3 is equal to 6, and 6 plus 5 is equal to 11. So we got the result 11. So for these things, we actually should have to use parentheses to avoid any type of errors. It is a good practice. So now we are going to again print it. Yeah, we got the same answer 11. Sometimes compiler does a little bit mistake in these programs, so we should have to use parentheses to avoid any type of error and difficulty. So now we are moving towards our last topic. Let's discuss typecasting and conversion in C. Typecasting allows us to change the data type of a variable temporarily, not permanently, it's temporary. Take a look at this example, as we wrote the code already. So just going to copy this time also. Yeah. Where we write this program. Yeah. So what we done here? Here we are doing typecasting. So it is a temporary process. For example, here we have int variable a is equal to 10, int b is equal to 3, and float result is equal to float a/b, because we have a separate variable of float type in which we are going to save the answer. So if the answer is in points, so we need it in points. So we make the temporary data type of float by doing this, by writing float in the parentheses before applying our operation. So let's run it and see what's the answer. Yeah, 3.3. Because if we divide 10 by 3, so we got the answer 3.3. But if we remove this typecasting thing and then we print our answer, then what it's going to be, we should have to be, yeah, F11. So it's going to be 3.00. Why? Because it is actually we don't typecast it, because a and b are integer type. So we have to typecast it if we want answer in float. So it temporarily changes type, data type. Now we can run it, and this is all about typecasting. So now let's recap what we learned in today's lesson so far. Variables and data types. What are variables and data types? What are common variables? What are commonly used data types in C programming? We see basic arithmetic and assignment operators, basic arithmetic operation, addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division by their operators, and understanding the precedence and associativity. Now and lastly, we saw the typecasting and conversion through the last example. We see through this example. So this is all about today's class, and that's it for this video lecture on variables and data types and operators in C. We covered the basic of declaring variables, performing arithmetic operations, understanding operators and precedence, and all these things. Now practice these concepts. You should have to practice this concept because believe me, anything you learn, if you don't practice, you can't remember anything. It's just a waste of a time. If you see something, if you invest your time on something, so invest it properly. Try to learn it properly. and do practice on a regular basis. So practice these concepts, experiment with different example, and and stay curious and let me on and also explore some other data types. And now I will see you soon. Happy code.